right now?
We're live, by the way.
Oh, we're live. Okay, then
We're live.
yeah, I'll keep the language clean for the kids. It is cold.
So we had a cold front. It's the high is 30 tomorrow.
Is it like, I think the low is 16 tonight?
Low 16 tonight.
Something like that.
It is very cold here. Like it's minus.
Well, now, but what is it in Fahrenheit?
It was minus 11 Celsius. Feels like minus 17 today.
What is that in Fahrenheit?
It's just really cold.
65. I don't know what that means.
Like if you're minus, like minus cold is just minus cold.
Doesn't matter. I'm not arguing.
It's like saying like if you're what's the like is it materially different between 20 degrees and 15 degrees? No, it's just cold.
I'll tell you what makes the difference is the wind.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what? Further to that point, the humidity. There's a difference between a dry cold and a wet cold. Wet cold cuts right through you. Sucks. Dry cold, you're like, I can kind of deal with this.
I had told Amanda that when she moved to Alabama, I was like, look, we don't typically get snow, but it'll get wet and cold. And that's enough to be miserable for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is enough. 100%. See, I got my uncle mug today. This is the mug you guys gave me.
Okay. Look at you.
A thumbs up.
Yeah, give me a thumbs up. I've got my Happy Trees University Bob Ross.
I love that sweater. Love that sweater so much.
I got my Living with No Excuses hat.
Yeah. Chuck's sporting the Living No Excuses hat. I gave him a hat, and he's been wearing it nonstop. I should have been giving him stuff a long time ago.
You want to tell everybody who's watching right now, this is kind of just a cold open?
Oh, yeah.
Like, we got people here.
We've already got William. William's been waiting for like 15 minutes.
There you go.
Keith's ready.
Welcome.
We'll play the intro in a few minutes.
Yeah, we're going to play the intro. Then we'll be professional.
Do we want to give them a little teaser? A little teaser of who's coming on?
I mean, I'm excited that we've got Chuck's joining us today. This is our producer. And so we'll introduce him a little better once we go into the intro. Yeah. But I'm glad we got him here. I feel like we got a little entourage now.
It's going to be fun.
Entourage. Did you ever watch that show?
I love that show.
That was a good show. Who was your favorite character?
I didn't watch all of them, but I watched several. Do what?
Who was your favorite character?
I don't know. I've got a drama I thought was hilarious.
Oh, Johnny Drama. That's right.
I never watched Entourage. I don't know.
Oh, you never watched it?
Really?
Oh, never mind.
Wasn't that on like Showtime or something?
Yeah, you don't have Showtime?
No,
yeah.
Can't afford that.
So I can't afford Showtime.
Netflix, man. Come on.
You got to pick and choose your apps.
That's right.
Well, I was on I've got a group text I've got, and I chimed in the other day. It was like, hey, I need somebody to give me their login for whatever. I want to watch this show. And one of them was like, I'm already tapped out. Like, I've got too many people have my passwords. Because we all, like, every time I log into something, I don't know if I have it or not. And it's usually my buddy Brian's account. The other day, I was like, hey, Brian, why don't you upgrade so I don't have to watch these ads?
I cannot handle ads. I
don't mind it. I miss commercials. I miss those breaks where you can go to the bathroom or get something to drink. I am one of those weird people that actually love commercial breaks. Mm-hmm. I wish they were clever. I think most of them are. I've never seen one that I've actually been excited about, though.
The interesting thing is like YouTube ads, or when I'm listening to, when I'm listening to a podcast, it's different when the ad is by the podcast host compared to when it's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like it when the host does it. I feel like
so do I.
It'll keep me engaged.
Otherwise, I find it so abrasive. It's like because they always get louder. However, when I'm watching a sporting event, now here's a hot take: betting ads during sporting events, because I feel like all sporting events are now just MGM, bet 99, bet whatever.
Even I noticed in Birmingham the other day an ad that was pointing out that we are losing out on all this money because other states are doing more betting than us online. I didn't know if it was legal.
Well, it's not technically legal in the state of Alabama, but there are apps that you can sign into that bet out of other states.
Oh, I know. I've used them.
So, I mean, I used one, the Underdog or something like that.
Yeah.
I used it for a little while. I made a little money and I deleted it. I was like, I'm not going to.
Look, one year, I'm not going to name any names. I don't want nobody to get in trouble, but there was this restaurant that these foreigners ran, and they had a bookie in New York. So I was already breaking there were all kind of laws being broken, and I started betting through them.
Mm.
And if I ever won, which wasn't that often, I remember I'd come in and sit down at the bar, and the lady would be so excited and hand me my money. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was like, hey, you got to just like set it down next to my drink. Like, don't make a big deal out of it. I'm not trying to get arrested.
Well, y'all ready to start this
All
officially?
right, y'all ready? You ready, Steven?
Oh, I'm ready. Keith was saying DraftKings pushes hard. DraftKings do push hard.
Yes, they do. Yes.
DraftKings, what is it? Bet 365? Isn't that the other one?
I don't remember which one I was using. I was never good at it. So I never got addicted to it. I just did it a few times and had fun. That one year I bet on sports for an entire season and about broke even. I was okay with that. All right, let's go. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
All right, another live episode. Would we agree we like this, Steven?
I love the live episode. It's way more dynamic.
Yeah, I think it's really fun.
And
we got with us
to communicate with the live audience.
Yeah, no, that's super. That's the best part.
It's exciting.
Before we start rambling, because I don't want people to be like, "Who's this guy sitting there?" I'm really excited. We got Chuck. Chuck's our producer. Producer Chuck.
Yeah.
Producer Chuck.
I like that title.
Is on with us because we want to start having guests. And I got to be honest, I kind of threw Steven a curveball the other day. It was like, hey, let's change everything. Let's do something different. Because I feel good. I feel like things are rolling, but I've even changed my background. Like we're just trying to figure out where we're going. But I want us to start having guests on our lives every time. Why are you laughing at me, Steven?
No, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the comments. Somebody's logged in is finding Steven and those cardigans, Steven. Yeah, I got the black on black cardigan happening today. Let's go.
Yes.
I should have had a stick.
This is the one I was saying it is missing the it used to have the elbow patches. It's so comfy and heavy. It's good.
I'm gonna have to look into a cardigan. I want to see, I don't know if I've never owned a cardigan.
They're the best. Because
what we call it toboggan. Steven, Chuck just said you're a toboggan. I wear my beanie. We in Alabama call a beanie a toboggan. Tell Chuck what a toboggan is up there.
That is a sled, Chuck.
Yeah,
a toboggan.
I know what they call it.
I know, but isn't that crazy though?
What do you call that? What do you call a sled or a toboggan?
A sled?
Something we don't own. We're in Alabama.
Down here, it's what you pull behind a mud truck. Or
yeah.
Oh, nice. So it's cold down there too, eh?
Yeah, it got cold here. We're having a little cold front, a little cold snap. It's going to be down well below freezing tonight, and then not going to get above freezing tomorrow.
Mm-mm. Now, we had a lot of snow in North Alabama this year, or yesterday.
Yeah, dang, they always get it.
Yeah.
So you know how I was in South Carolina last week? Old man and I went there, we did a little golfing. When you guys got all that snow, a lot of how people in the South have their pools covered with like metal frames and tarps to keep out bugs and whatnot. A lot of those had collapsed on these different golf courses we played.
Oh, I've only seen those in Florida.
They existed on Hilton Head Island as well.
Okay, now I know.
My uncle lives in Foley. A lot of his neighborhood has them.
Okay, yeah, Foley, because that's way south. Yeah, I almost bought a pool right before COVID, like literally a month before. I had someone at the house. We were breaking it down. Like I was going to go all out, and then I was like, I don't know. And then COVID happened, and then like pool sales went out of control. And I'm actually glad I didn't. I don't want to deal with a pool.
Alex also said to keep out alligators and snakes. I think that is an excellent point.
You know what? I was thinking mosquitoes, and mosquitoes are not as severe as alligators and snakes. That is a really.
My uncle who lived in Baton Rouge told me, because we had to stay above the carport. Yeah. He's like, if you got to come in the house, you got to walk to the garage. call me first. I said, why? He said, because there's alligators that will come up into the garage. They don't shut the garage door. I was like, okay. So, yeah, keep out the alligators for sure.
That is crazy.
Hey, a question we had when we were on the golf course and there was an alligator. Do alligators, can they live in brackish water as well as just fresh water?
That's a good question.
Wait a minute. What, brackish water?
Yeah, where salt water.
Can they live in salt water?
Well,
Wouldn't they?
Brackish water is like the mixture of salt and fresh.
Exactly. It's where the salt and the fresh mix or meat.
We may need to confirm this. I remember hearing about a shark that worked its way up the bull shark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, worked its way up the river here in Alabama.
I'm a producer. I'm supposed to be researching all this.
Oh yeah, I want to get to work. Steven,
Okay.
looking that up. Have
Pardon
you seen? Do you even watch TV? Are you like your sister? She didn't even own a TV when we were dating.
I have a TV. I watch very little, but I like sports. I like sports and I like movies because I feel like movies, sauna, golf are the 3 times a realtor is allowed to turn off their phone.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, I was in you call somebody back 2 hours later. I was in a movie. Oh, yeah, of course. You didn't have your phone on you. So, yeah. My recharge
You
time.
want to be like, I'm taking a nap. Have you seen anything? Movie. Have you seen anything lately that's been good, or you watched anything?
Yeah, I watched The Banker the other day. That was a good movie. Have you seen that?
No, I hadn't even heard of that.
So it's got Samuel L. Jackson in it. It's set in the 60s. And I didn't realize that there's a little backstory to this. Obviously, when I moved to Florida, that was the first time I ever really felt like palpable racial tensions. Because in Canada, there's really not too much of a difference between, there's no difference. Like a person's a person. But when I moved to Florida, I was like, oh, wow, people really care about skin color down here. And The Banker talks about how it was a lot harder for Black people to get mortgages or
loans.
business loans
Back in the day.
Yeah. And it's a fascinating movie, really good movie, entertaining. Yeah. So I watched The Banker the other day. Good movie.
All right. Well, I watched
what did you see?
Paddington in Peru.
Oh, that's right. You had mentioned that.
Yeah. Well, because
not as good as the first one, right?
It wasn't. It was not. For Valentine's Day, we went to New York, saw your mom so she could see the baby, and she watched Matthew so Amanda and I could go have a date. And I took her to dinner and a movie. And I chose this little movie theater that only had 2 movie options. And one of them was Captain America. I know Chuck's a big Marvel guy. And the other one was Paddington in Peru. And I knew Amanda wasn't into action movies, and I don't really watch any of them either. So I did like the Paddington movie. Yeah. So we went and saw Paddington in Peru. And it wasn't bad. It had, what's his name? That played who plays, I'm gonna go reference another children's movie in Shrek. Who plays the kitten that's like Zorro? Antonio Banderas. Yes. Antonio Banderas is in it.
Great.
I enjoyed seeing him in there.
Also saw Better Man. Have you seen Better Man?
What is that?
The Robbie Williams story, where it's kind of like a biopic. So it's kind of like a biography and a motion picture at the same time. But Robbie Williams is played by a monkey. Sounds ridiculous. Genuinely had a couple like teary-eyed moments. And if you like Robbie Williams, had a lot of bangers throughout the early 2000s. It was a very good movie. So those are my 2 movies.
I hate to say, who is Robbie Williams?
What?
I'm know him. I'm not good with names.
There was a big divide on social media when that came out because there was a ton of people that were saying, who's Robbie Williams? And it was primarily Americans because he's very famous in Europe and other countries. But everybody in the U.S. associates with Robin Williams.
I know. I thought you were messing it up. Yeah. I was like, you mean Robin Williams? Another movie I recently saw that was a documentary, and Robin Williams was in it. Robin Williams was Superman, the Christopher Reeve story.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody the other day, I don't know if it's really that good a documentary. I was very invested in it. I loved it. I thought it was so good from the start to finish because, I mean, when it comes to superheroes, I am a Superman fan. Like that's who, I mean, he's the ultimate superhero, if you ask me. I know Chuck could disagree. But I love Superman.
We're gonna nerd out on this episode.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And I thought Christopher Reeves was amazing. I'm that age group
I agree with that.
was watching those movies, and
I just looked it up. Robbie Williams signed a record-breaking £80 million contract with EMI in 2002.
Oh, just the fact that you said pound tells me a lot.
Think about it, £80 million in 2002. That would be like signing, and back then the dollar, it was probably like 2 to 1 or close. So that would be like $150 million contract in 2000.
I could live with that.
I mean, yeah.
Karen said Christopher Reeves was the best. He was. I agree with you, Karen. I've been dying to talk about this. I've been watching Severance.
Oh, I've heard about it. How is it?
It is. Have you seen it?
I've seen clips of it.
Look, for a long time, the first season has been on Apple TV for a while, and it never really just didn't seem interesting. And I finally sat down and watched. I mean, I blew through the first season in a couple of days, and now I'm caught up to where I'm waiting every Friday for the next episode. And I love it because it's the premise of it is these people chose to have this surgery done where when they go to work, it's called their innie, who's in work, does not know anything about their outie, the person that's outside. And the person outside don't even know what they do for work. So it's this whole interesting dynamic, and it's really interesting. It's a thriller, and it's by who's the actor that known for comedy back in the day, and he created this thriller. Okay, on Seinfeld, George's father, George Costanza's father, yes. He's the father of.
Oh, George Costanza's dad is awesome on Seinfeld.
But who is he?
I'll look it up. Give me 1 second. Also, Keith watched The Gorge on Apple TV. I also watched The Gorge, Keith, in case you guys haven't figured out. I really do like movies. I thought it was an interesting premise as well in The Gorge.
Ben Stiller. Thank you, Alex. Jerry Stiller is the father.
Is Jerry Stiller.
I think Ben Stiller's the one who made this
Severance. That makes sense. I think Jerry Stiller, I don't think he does much if he's still alive.
Yeah, no, he's not. But I think Ben Stiller's not in the show.
No.
Or maybe it's somebody like Ben Stiller is who created Severance.
It says Dan Erickson created the television series Severance.
Well, who else is involved?
He is an American television screenwriter, showrunner, producer, born.
No, there's somebody that's involved with it. It's one of the somebody.
I don't know about that one, but The Gorge, is that the one where there's like a canyon?
Yeah. The east side, west side.
Yeah. There's stuff down in there. Chuck's too young for Seinfeld. No, I'm not.
He's seen reruns. You know what? The one thing why I was so excited to bring up Severance, because I thought, man, we should do a podcast every week about Severance. Because I actually am doing it by myself. It's irritating waiting for a show to come out the next Friday.
Oh, I love how they're doing that.
I remember, I don't know how I got into The Walking Dead, but when it sucked me in, I would go to a friend's house every Sunday and we would watch it. And I thought that was like, I feel like binging, you lose that.
Oh, we had
completely agree. It's almost like people watching what's that show called, Noah? Dancing with the Stars? That's it. Yeah, Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's another one.
Never heard of
it? But yeah, so it's like I feel like I want someone to talk to about Severance. I don't know anybody that's watching it. Oh no, I got a buddy of mine that I'll text him sometimes because I've watched it. I've always made fun of people and my kids that they'll watch stuff on their phone. Mm-hmm. But if I'm traveling, there's been 2 weeks I've been out of town when Severance came out and I watch it on my phone.
I'll watch it.
Chuck, Noah keeps translation for Severance is actually The Bachelor. Noah's hooked. He's always debating who's getting that rose. He tunes in every Monday night. Who's
what was
getting
the one?
the rose?
Did they do a senior Bachelor?
Pardon me?
Didn't they do a senior like an old?
Yeah, they did one.
I think they did.
Yeah.
Golden Age
The
or
Golden
something?
Age.
Yeah. I mean, or something like that. I don't know.
I love how he's like, did they? Did they? I think they did.
Did
What was
they?
it called again? The Golden Age?
Look at him.
Your iPhone.
Him and that apple. Oh, the Interstellar, the brewery that
Yes.
we used to go to, they did watch parties for all of the bachelors, and they even did bracket style of like elimination stuff.
Yeah, I'd been there
It was interesting.
when they were watching it.
Oh, that's why you were there?
Yeah. I was like, I'm here to drink.
He was leading. He was the person. Okay, so who are you thinking this week, John?
Yeah. Well, it sucks you in. Like it's a train wreck that you have to watch.
All right. Keith said, yeah, it makes you think what the military does behind the scenes. Actually, that provokes a really interesting question, Keith. Noah, did you ever see things in the military where you were like, I wonder if the public knows about this?
No, because I was not, my job wasn't at that level. Now, I remember having moments of, I hope no one I know or my children ever experience this. Like I had moments like
What do you
that.
mean?
Like just the severity, the devastation, the deaths, the trauma, and just remember having moments of not even realize what it was doing to me. I just remember thinking, I hope. At that point, my second deployment, I had my son was born before that deployment, and there were several times I thought, I hope he never experiences anything like this his entire life.
I'll always remember in that earlier podcast when you were talking about the story with General Horst and came up and you're like, you're pulling, you're like, I had hands full of flesh.
Yeah.
Like when you said that, I was like, that is a luxury that most people will just never know.
Yeah.
So thank you for your service again.
Oh, well, no. But yeah, but other than that, I never saw anything. What I always thought was interesting was the things guys would choose to, like my first deployment, I had a portable DVD player, like you flip up screen, and you watch DVDs, and what people would choose to watch was always interesting because they either would watch things that was almost, it'd be a military movie, which I thought, why would you want to watch that now? Or it would be so far in left field that it was obvious it was a distraction.
Pirated copies of The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it was me and you talking about this or if I was talking to somebody else, but they were telling a story about a veteran who was in the hospital. And they see the news and they're talking about something going on in another country. And the guy asked the nurses, like, is this live? And they said, no, this is live. We're going on right now. He said, well, this happened a year ago. And he had to go through a full psychiatric eval. He was scared himself that he was going crazy because he was there. He's like, no, that was my platoon or my, whatever it was doing this a year ago. Why is it just now hitting the news?
No.
Have you ever experienced anything like that?
No. When we came back from Iraq in 2004, when we invaded in 2003, it was every time you go to work, guys were like, hey, did you see, I saw you on the History Channel, because they were playing clips of us invading. And we would see us doing stuff. It was already, had been filmed at different points and then later shown on these different channels. So that happened.
Yeah, I guess that was right after 9/11. So it was prime.
Yes.
To show everything.
Yeah.
All right, hit us with these cards, Noah. I'm waiting with
All
bated
right,
breath.
so let me tell everybody what we got. So I had bought one day this deck of cards called How Deep Will You Go? And it's like they're in-depth questions, 3 levels of carefully crafted questions to dig deeper. And I opened it a couple of nights ago after we did an episode, and me and Chuck were just in here talking. I was just looking at them. And then I started going through them, and we just started talking about different things. It was really good. It was actually really enjoyable. So we're going to check it out.
Some tears.
Yeah, some of it was kind of it was real. All right, so we got level 1, which is icebreakers.
Perfect.
Level 2, which is confessions, and level 3, getting deep.
I know.
Okay, I'm only doing 1 and 3. Okay.
I know, yeah. Watch what you say. This is being recorded. So we'll start level. What'd you say?
I said I'm only doing 1 and 3 icebreakers and
no confessions. This is like truth or dare.
Should I break the bottle of whiskey out?
Okay, I'm gonna start with you, Stephen. What is the first thing you think people notice about you?
I think it would depend on where they meet me, but I'd like to think that I'm a welcoming person.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
No, I'm thinking of a buddy.
You want to make a joke?
No. The comment section. I was waiting for it.
Yeah, Chuck's watching the
I'm
comments.
sorry, too easy. Cardigans, let's go.
And
I
then
gotta
his
get more
wife said,
cardigans.
"It's Chuck's wife. I want confessions."
Who
Chuck.
is Finding Stephen? I'm so curious who
I'm
this
going to tell you
person
who
is.
Finding Stephen is. I know who Finding Stephen is.
His name is Stephen.
Yep, Stephen, who I mentioned before on here. I met him years ago. He had that blog, Who Ate My Blog. He was on this big weight loss journey. He says he's moved past the blog, but he had, Stephen, if you don't mind me saying, he fell off the wagon for a while and had life got in the way, but he's back on it. I follow him on social media. We try to get together when we can. It's been a while, but Stephen, I'd actually like to have him on the show one day. He's done a lot, and he's been on a big weight loss journey. Good guy, and he also spells his name with PH like you.
Exactly. And Santana Smith has joined the party. So you asked the question, Noah. Welcome, Santana. What's the first thing that people probably notice?
Do you think people notice about you?
And I would hope it would be that I'm welcoming, because most of the time, but again, that's very much a situation specific thing. I'm thinking of when I met now a dear friend of mine. His name's Brad. I was a friend and client of mine, Andrea, and she came up and gave me a big hug, and it was like, as you would with any other friend, but he was like, "Oh my God, who are these people? Like, they just seem like they're good, like warm energy."
Yeah.
And from there, now he's like one of my closest buddies. Well, so that's what I would hope. What do you boys think? If you,
I was going to say same question for you.
Same question for me.
Yeah.
What is the first thing I think people notice about me? I do. I'm going to say the obvious. Yeah. I think that it is the fact that I missed an arm and a leg, but I think, and this is because I put the effort into it. Like, I'm very cautious in how I carry myself. I like to think that people notice that I am missing an arm and a leg, but I try to take care of myself. I stay fit and I try to carry myself well. So I hope that's what people see, but I know that people are drawn to the fact that I missed an arm and leg, which is okay. Like, if you've never seen anybody miss an arm and a leg, you're going to look. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not offended by it, but I do think that's what grabs people immediately.
Chuck?
I'm going for the easy one. Everybody thinks I'm a cop. Like
you do have that look.
Everybody.
You do have that look.
Nobody wants to bring
I went to
anything out.
dinner the other night, and we got carded for the first time in probably 10 years. And I looked at her kind of funny. She goes, "Look, you like a cop. I'm not going to not ask you for your ID." I said, okay.
She makes sure you don't get in trouble. All right. Let's try another level. Let's see where these go. Oh, this is actually pretty good. All right. I'm going to start with you this time, Chuck. Okay. Who would you like to play you in a movie?
No, that's easy. Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Yeah. I've gotten that for years. At one point, I want to play his son in a movie. I want him and me to be in the same movie together.
Man, can you act?
I can figure it out. Yeah.
You can figure it. He's like, you put me in a movie, I'll figure it out.
I spent 10 years chasing people down and pretending to be a thief. So
Oh yeah, for
I
your
did loss
work.
prevention for a long time.
Yeah.
So I had to pretend to be a bad guy. So I can be a bad guy in a movie.
Yeah.
I can be his rogue son.
There you go. I like it. Steven?
I don't know. I mean, who do like? The obvious answer is Brad Pitt, but after that,
Who's who's the guy that plays in? Man, I'm horrible with names. What's the movie where Brad Pitt is in it and he plays the gypsy, like the Dags? The Dags. There's jewel thieves in it.
Snatch.
Snatch. Oh my
Oh,
God, I
I've
love
seen
that
it.
movie. So who's the main guy in Snatch? Who's one of the main guys?
Oh, Jason Statham.
Yes,
I
there you
I
go.
get that a ton. When I used to have all my hair. Like you never knew me when I had my like flow
I've seen
down
pictures.
past
Yeah, he had long hair.
Really?
all the hair. I used to get Orlando Bloom in an odd way. But yeah, now I do get
That's good.
Jason Statham a fair bit. He's just
Yeah.
a little bit bigger than I am. All right. What about you, Noah? Wait, Chuck.
Well-
we should both guess. Who do you think Noah would be? Who do you think would play Noah well?
I love this question because like there is a script that is written that they have tried to pitch to make a movie about me. And it's always been the question, who would play me?
I think we can go with Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper?
See Bradley
He's
Cooper.
Military background, like
Yeah.
movies and wise.
You know what? That's really good. I always thought
I would think Chris Pine or Chris Evans as well. Like Chris Pine, the
Okay.
guy from Star Trek, Chris Evans, the original Captain America. But you got, I think Bradley Cooper's face structure matches Noah a little bit better.
I always wanted to have. Oh, and I'm drawing Chris Pratt. I feel like his demeanor.
Oh yeah.
I always like Chris
He's
Pratt.
funny.
Yeah, but Chris Evans. Well, and another person that I've been in contact with a couple of times is who's the other Captain America? His dad and mom, Goldie Hawn, and
God, he went to Huntsville, Alabama, for college. I'm blanking on his name now. And as a Marvel fan, it hurts my soul. God, what's his name?
I got to tell you a funny story about him and Marvel in a second. Oh my! And I'm even drawing it.
Alex, you know who it is. I know she's in the
Yeah,
comments
Alex,
here.
chime in. Tell us who we're talking about. While we're comparing, I got to tell you this, Stephen.
Kurt Russell's son.
Kurt Russell. Okay. Yes.
Something Russell.
Oh my God! I want to.
I'm trying to look it up.
No. But yeah, Kurt Russell is the father. While you're looking it up, listen. So during COVID, Chuck had his garage set up for a gym, and I started working out there. And one day we got to talking, and I was like, I've never watched any of these Marvel movies.
It just says
Chuck
Wyatt
got-
Russell. Okay.
Wyatt
Wyatt
Russell, that's
Russell,
who it is.
yeah.
Wyatt.
Alex
Man, I
just
feel
put it
so
on.
bad I forgot his name. Yeah. Because we've been in a group text before with someone else. Now, we also talked about the other day. Sometimes it sounds like I'm bragging or name dropping. No, listen, when I say stuff like that, it's because there is no reason I should know any of these people. And I think it's ridiculous. But listen, so we're working out one day, and I told Chuck that I've never seen a single Marvel movie, and his eyes lit up.
Never?
And
Like, not even
he
Iron
goes,
Man? Like not even Iron Man, the original?
No, I've never seen any of them. Well, here's what Chuck said. He goes, Alex, my wife is out of town this weekend, and I am already planned to sit and watch every single Marvel movie in order. Do you want to come watch it with me? And I
wow.
said, no,
No.
you're ridiculous.
Look, I know what I felt when I watched them for the first time growing up. Like I grew up. The first one came out when I was 18, and I watched them all.
Yeah,
as they
no, I'm
came
not
out.
hating on you.
And I want to experience that with other people because I don't
Okay.
get to experience that anymore.
All right.
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
think people
I've
love
seen
Lord
parts
of the
Iron Man.
Rings.
It looks funny.
Oh yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Well,
Oh,
it's like
Lord
people
of the
love Lord of
Rings.
the Rings or they love Star Wars, and it's like let's watch them all.
Look, Lord of the Rings sucked
I
me
can't
in.
watch that much TV in a day.
Lord of the Rings sucked me in Iraq, my first deployment.
Oh,
And
really?
in fact, the third one was on bootleg. You could get a bootleg copy in Iraq. And guys were watching it on their little DVD players. I was like, don't let me see it, because I didn't want to watch it that way. And I got home, watched the first and second one, and then went to the theater just so I could refresh my brain and go watch the third one. Yeah, like it sucked me in.
When you get hooked on something like that,
Oh, yeah, it
you're
does.
addicted like
It
this.
does.
It's
It
like
happens
anything
to all
else.
of us.
Yeah, 100%. All right.
All right, you want
So
to
we got Marky
drop the
Mark.
next level?
Jason Statham and a couple options for Noah.
A couple of Chris's.
Fact is, no one can really play you, Noah. That's the truth.
Right.
Just play yourself.
Here's the thing is, I already know what scene I want to do a cameo in if there's ever a movie about me. I want to be, there was a day, like I was on, like, there were so many emotions as I was in the hospital at Walter Reed and I was on all this medication. So you're just all over the place. And my sister Sarah was in the room and I just unloaded my anger on her, was just a jerk. And she went out in the hallway and was standing there crying, trying to compose herself. And a veteran rolls up in his wheelchair and goes, "Is your veteran being mean to you?" And she's like, "Yes." And he goes, "I don't know why we do that, but we're going through a lot." And I guarantee he didn't mean it. And it was, I want to play that person. But then she said she walked back in and I looked at her, I'm like, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" And then she said that just made her mad. So like, what's your problem?
That's a beautiful story. Is your veteran being mean to you?
All right.
Like I said, that just made her cry. Like
it, you know, that it was, yeah, like it was, I want to play that character as a cameo if the movie ever happens. Which would just be cool if it did. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. What is a dream you let go of, but it hurts?
We talked about this one the other night.
Did we go through this one? I should have shuffled them.
Do that one with Steven, and I'll still give an answer.
All right, Steven, what is a dream you let go of, but it hurts?
Well, it hurt for a long time. That would have been my Sustainable Joe's thing.
Yeah.
My passion project, right? Like I believe we have to move our world in a more sustainable direction. Period. Full stop. End of sentence. And it also has to be financially sustainable. And my project just wasn't. So that's kind of what I felt like I was really meant to do. Like, am I a very good realtor? Yes, by every metric. But do I want to maximize my utility as a person? Also, yes. So that was a hard one.
Chuck?
So last time you asked me that question, I didn't have an answer. I said I'm still working on all my dreams. I'm gonna say it quick because I don't want to get emotional. But
this is a safe space.
This is, yeah, and I'm putting it out there because I know this is what you want now.
Come on.
A relationship with my father.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that and we'll move on.
All right. Mine would be, I really enjoyed being in the military. And so that hurt for a long, I'm just now dealing with it in therapy. Like I've buried it for so long. I always told people I could go and speak on behalf of veterans, but I never really went all in. I thought there was a disconnect, that I wasn't capable or I wasn't connected or whatever. And now I've started working and doing therapy with veterans, and it's been so good for me. But it was to the point, like, I couldn't watch military movies, not just because you'd see things that were unrealistic or wrong. I couldn't watch it because you watch a movie to, even if it's a fantasy, to engulf yourself in that fantasy. And so I could never watch military movies after I was injured because it was just too, I missed it. I wanted it. I didn't want it to end. So that,
and it was taken from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember in that Better Man movie, the Robbie Williams one, Robbie at one point, and this is no spoiler, just he had a challenging relationship with his dad. And at one point, Robbie also, like, he had done a lot of drugs. And he needed help, frankly. And he was going to, like, tell his audience this and that. And the dad's like, "Son, people don't pay to hear your problems. They pay to come to your show to forget about theirs." And I think movies and music and concerts are all, in a way, even books are all in a way like escapes for people. And sometimes if those hit a little too close to home, it can certainly stir up some different emotions.
No, I've read a long time ago that, like, you look at the Great Depression or when something like that happens, theaters, like if we go through a depression or, if the economy crashes, like, people are drawn to alcohol and movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Anything to escape. And movies are a huge escape. You want to do another round of these?
Let's go.
All right. I'm going to make sure these are mixed up. I'm going to cut.
Joan said, interesting conversation. Yeah, Joan, it's a surprise to me too. We're just firing.
Hey, look. Yeah. And if y'all hear a question and you want to chime in or add to, feel free. Come on. This is an open discussion. All right. We're going to do another round.
Game of Thrones. Here's a hot take, Keith. Overrated, underrated, the last season of Game of Thrones.
I never watched Game of Thrones.
Oof. I was like, you really want me to piss everybody? You said you ain't watched it. I watched the first season and didn't care for it.
Oh, dang. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't say that.
Alex
you're going to make some people mad.
I'm going to make some people mad.
That just shows us your taste, Chuck, but that's okay. We accept you for you, buddy.
I like action. I like it.
You like Spider-Man, don't you?
I like action.
Oh, man. Look, here's the thing. I'm going to
He's not my favorite. He's not my favorite.
But I'm going to put it out there. You know, now I haven't watched the Spider-Man movie, so this is a judgment. It is. But you take Superman, for example. This is a bad, tough man. Not bad, but, you know, a tough guy. Mm-hmm. And so how does he hide that? He plays a wimpy Clark Kent. Mm-hmm. Now let's look at Spider-Man. This is a wimp.
No. Technically, he's just a nerd, which.
Okay. Defend it. You can defend it. You know, I think that's why it connects with a lot of people.
But here's the other thing, too. When you watched that Christopher Reeves movie, how old were you?
Oh, I was a little bit because the first one came out before I was born. I was born in 1981.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man came out when I was 11.
Oh, so you were the prime age.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I can't. You know what? Hey, we're here to grow.
That's right. What are they going around right now on social media? It's like we listen, but we don't judge.
Oh, okay. Oh man, this is an icebreaker. When was the last time you were hurt by someone you like? Anybody? That's man.
Anybody want to go first?
So I'll go first. I had a friendship of 30 years that recently ended, and it's been difficult. It was a decision that had to be made, not because of what the person has chosen to do. He's had this secret life that, like, he would hint at things to me to see where I was, but I just kind of brushed them off. And then when it came to light, it was way more than I ever could have imagined. I'm more upset with how it is affecting they're in the process of a divorce, but his wife, his children, his grandchildren, like, that is why I had to end it. And he didn't do anything personally to me. It cost me some money. That's a whole nother discussion, but it was more of I made the decision to end the friendship, but it still hurt because, you know, so I don't have friends. I shared that with Chuck one day. I'm in this, and my therapist explained to me, he says, that's something that can be healed. But I don't let people close, and I'm working on that. Starting with my wife, like we're building something beautiful together, and I've never allowed anyone in as close as I have. And friends have always been hard for me. I've always had people I know. All my friends will say the same thing. I drift in and out, and most of them are two buddies that are real close, and I kind of come in and out and be that third wheel. And this was one of the only few people that I have held on to as a friend for 30 years. And so it was really hard to make that break. Mm-hmm. Stephen?
The last time I was hurt by somebody I liked is the question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to rephrase it to the last time I was hurt by somebody I cared for. I don't know. I mean, I'm like, I don't know. Dad and I had a few little tiffs when we were out in South Carolina, but that's more like just how we communicate. And
it doesn't mean that you ended something because of it. But
no. If it hurts, I actually love it because I'm at a stage now where I communicate if I am hurt. So I don't really like, I try to stay in the space of gratitude. In that, like, there's always a lesson to be learned. A mistake it's only a mistake if you do it twice. But yeah, the last time when my grandma died, but she didn't do that intentionally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but no, I know that affected you and Amanda, my wife,
Yeah.
your sister, a lot. That was tough. We were in Alaska.
And mother too, right? Like, but that's not their fault. So because of that, I don't think other issues have been as significant. Like to the point where I can't really, I just shake off most things because it's like,
Chuck, you got anything?
What's more important?
I got a few.
Oh,
but I don't know. Do you want funny or you want like?
Hey, look, wherever you do,
come on,
whatever you got, Chuck, hit us with it.
Let's go lighthearted.
Okay.
When I had to discipline my daughter the other night, and she looked me in the eye and said, "You're a bad dad," and stormed out of the room. That broke my heart.
Oh.
And all I was doing was trying to get her to go to bed. It was just like, you got to go to bed. So yeah, that was probably the roughest thing I've had happen this week.
Yeah,
in the last 3 days.
You're saying that's funny?
That's probably the funnier of the one. So yeah, my daughter storming out and telling me I'm a bad dad.
Yeah,
like just I'm trying to get her to go to bed.
Yeah,
she's 4. Like so.
Yeah. All right. Confessions. Would you rather save money or save time?
No, that's the easy answer for me.
What? Time.
I heard a really cool statement the other day in one of my masterminds. A buddy goes, be generous with your wealth and be frugal with your time.
Yeah.
Because time is
one
thing you never get more of, period.
Yeah. Like those quotes you always hear about, those little stories of, an old man on his deathbed. They never say they wish they had more money. They wish they'd had more time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think a lot of people would agree with that, except for broke people. No, I'm joking.
That's true. I remember when I finished Sustainable Joe's, I had $5,000. I was living in a basement. It was very figuratively and literally a dark time in my life. And, sitting here with, multiple investment properties later, 6 years, like I reflect heavily on that. Like there is and they actually did a study. It's like $75,000. When somebody makes more than $75,000, then it's kind of a law of diminishing returns. Now it's probably up to 100. But every dollar up to that amount makes a meaningful difference in somebody's life.
Yeah. Karen said it depends on which one you have more of. I guess that's a good point. Mm-hmm. And Keith, I saw your comment. Last time you were hurt by someone you like, he said 6 months ago.
Keith also said the last season of Game of Thrones was overrated. 100%.
Yeah, we go to the time.
All right. So we're going to go with the deeper one.
Oh God, they get deeper.
How do you deal with your anger? How do you deal with your partner's anger? What needs to change? Okay, I'm gonna start this one because
I'm gonna refill my tea, not to be rude, in case you guys haven't noticed. I got a little bit case of the sniffles.
The clept. What is it? What they say? Remember the SNL skit with oh my God, who's from Wayne's World? I'm horrible with names.
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers, when he does I'm the clamped or what? I don't know. Anyway, okay, anger. So here's what's interesting. If you saw, we have an episode that went live a couple of days ago. Was the interview with Bo Armistead of Sojourn Counseling. He runs it. He's also my therapist, and we talked about microcurrent neurofeedback. And I've been obsessing over it today because night before last, so my 17-year-old son has been doing it. And my 20-year-old son did it a few times before he went to basic training. And he had told me how it affected him. And the other night I said, hey, Jack, I know you've only done 3 sessions of microcurrent neurofeedback. They say it takes they want you to do like 10. I said, have you noticed any differences? And he said, yeah, I don't get angry like I have. And I'm able to have a conversation with people. And I've learned I don't have to share my opinion. I was like, whoa. And when he said it, I realized that I had started back to doing microcurrent neurofeedback a few weeks ago. And the other day, my wife said, she said, your demeanor is so calm. She said, everything's good, right? I said, yeah, I'm great. And we can have good conversations because I'm not as angry and I'm able to think through. When you stepped away, Stephen, I was sharing that I
heard
microcurrent.
it. Okay. Yeah, Jack
and
going to, yeah.
So it has dramatically affected our anger. And my older son the other day was like, hey, can you find me a place up here in Long Island that does microcurrent neurofeedback? He said, did you enjoy it? He said, it helped with my short fuse. And I thought that was so powerful to hear. So then all day today, I've been listening to podcasts and audiobooks on microcurrent neurofeedback and what it is doing and how it's helping people in different ways. Because I see a huge difference in the fact that my 17-year-old son said that, because I noticed it. Me and my wife have talked about how great the conversations we've had with Jack, because he's like me. Like, I am bad about, I'll get defensive. I think I'm being attacked. And all you do is ask me a question. And then I want to argue. Then I blow up. And I've not been doing that. So that has helped with my anger. Chuck?
So I definitely want to try that microcurrent neurofeedback, right?
Yep.
And I'm very interested in that after that episode. But used to, and this actually kind of sparked a different fight. Growing up, if I ever got into a situation where I couldn't control my emotions, I had to go for a walk. It didn't matter if it was 2 a.m, you know.
You're good about doing it.
And I would go for a walk. And there was sometimes I walked 10 miles. You know, I had buddies.
Didn't know how bad you were.
It was like 3 a.m. I had a buddy pull up beside me. Hey, you okay? Because I'm like 10 miles from home, just walking on the side of the road. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Just going for a walk. Did not realize I probably needed to communicate that to my wife, because we were newlyweds in an apartment complex downtown Birmingham. And we got into an argument, one of our first big fights. And I just walked out. I'm like, I'm going to go for a walk in my head. I didn't tell her where I was going.
Yeah.
And I didn't take my phone. I didn't take anything with me. I just went for a walk. I came back an hour later. I felt horrible. I went from mad to just feeling like the smallest man on earth, because she was sitting there
terrified,
upset, terrified. Didn't know if I was lying, what I did. Like, she thought didn't know if I was leaving her or what.
Yeah.
I felt horrible. So I guess getting to the point where I'm trying to communicate better, like my feelings before I explode, because my problem was I bottle stuff up.
Yeah.
And I just go walk it off. But I can't do that now, and I can't bottle it up. So I would like to discuss more of that treatment.
Yes. Because I want to get more people to try it because I want to hear more people talk about how it affects them. Because I'm all about hearing about real results.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll look into that. We'll call Bo. Stephen, how do you deal with your anger?
I love going to the gym. Now, if it's anger inside of a conversation, I'd like to say I try to be curious. I don't really raise my voice. I never have. I'm just kind of pretty much here. I literally mediated arguments between loved ones. Like, you talk, now you talk. No, listen to the other person. Let them get their what they want to get out. So I'd like to say I try to be curious. Like I had shared in an earlier episode, a great lesson a buddy of mine, Adam, had taught me a long time ago is, ask yourself 2 questions. What do I want the outcome of this conversation or argument to be? And if you don't see the outcome, because through your emotions in that moment, schedule a time to continue it later. Say, I got to step away from this because I'm not going to say anything positive and constructive right now. And I'm just going to be talking through emotion, which is good to get the emotions out. But is it always fair to unload them on somebody else? I don't know if that answers.
You shared that with me before on a conversation you and I were just having privately. And that makes me think of, sometimes there's nothing wrong with going for the walk. I don't think, one, know that you're just going to be gone for a minute, but then come back and talk about it. Because Santana commented and said, same, I bottle things up and then explode. It's not pretty. That has been me my entire life. In fact,
I never used to explode. I would just bottle it up and I would just carry it and carry it and carry it. And now I communicate it.
Yeah, I was never good at communicating. and it would blow, like it would eventually come out and I would explode. And I had told my therapist the other day, I was like, I'm experiencing a lot of sadness. I know I'm evolving, I'm changing, I'm growing as a man, but I'm experiencing so much sadness. And he made a good point. He was like, because you've bottled all that up, and that anger was covering it up, and then it would blow up his anger. Mm-hmm. And when he was saying it, all I could picture was having all this sadness that I wasn't dealing with and accepting and moving past, and this dark cloud being over it. And now I feel like those clouds are parting, and I have to, like, I've just in the last year, maybe two, I've truly started to deal with the fact that I lost an arm and a leg 19 years ago.
That's crazy.
Like it is insane, and it is sad that I've done that. And I'm just now dealing with it. And so there's other things that have come up, and it's been because I bottled it up. So I know exactly what you're talking about, Santana. And Keith said, yeah, the gym. Yeah, the gym is a great place to take
also journaling. I don't know if anybody has journaled, but if my mind's ever racing, and I know it sounds a little cheesy, but just we all need an outlet. And often I'll just, if my mind's racing at night, boom, write it down in a journal, like all the things I got to do the next day, what have you. If I'm dealing with an offer late, so then everything else gets pushed. Just getting it out of your head so that it's somewhere that you can get back to the next day really helps me relax.
That is something I want to get into. I haven't, because I don't. When do we ever write anymore? You know what I mean? It's almost like my hand.
I've got a journal, but I use it more for my goal tasks. Like I write down what I'm trying to do for the day, scratch it out so I can physically see myself scratch it out.
Well, I remember going through basic training, and I was writing, letters all the time. And I remember seeing a difference in my writing style as it grew, because then I was writing more and more. Then it became more legible. Yeah. Because I want to get back into it, because I know that, oh my God, the things, like, one, if it lets things out and I can move past it, but also who knows what could come up when you journal. Like, I just hear so many positive things to journaling, and I want to start doing it.
Oh, Zach journals every day.
Every day?
He's my counselor / therapist. Like, I don't pay him. I pay him in whiskey when we do our podcast. But, but he's the one I lean on a lot.
Yeah.
No, it sounds like that was for March, Noah. You could journal every day.
Yes. No, I want to start doing that. Another part of this question, how do you deal with your anger? The second question is, how do you deal with your partner's anger? We're going to skip that one.
Yeah. We don't need to make anybody mad with that.
Yeah. I'm not. What? My wife never gets angry. Don't get mad. Yeah, I know. She isn't.
Especially because I'm pretty sure half her family's in the chat box right
now. All right.
We're coming up on an hour.
All right. This is a level 3. Oh, we're coming up. This was going fast.
Yeah.
All right. Look, if you could keep a part of someone within you who has passed away, who would it be? How would this be helpful? If you could keep a part of someone within you who has passed away, who would it be?
I can hit this one nail right on the head. My namama, which is grandma in Hungarian, like she was, you knew her, Noah, like just such a strong woman. And like, I never saw my namama cry, even at my great grandmother's funeral. And she was just always there for our family.
You say that. I want to point out, like, so no one gets the wrong impression. Like, she wasn't a hard woman.
No, she loved you. She would give you a hug.
You felt her love. You felt her love.
Always. And she just always did the right thing. She was the first person to call on your birthday. She had birthday cards, Christmas cards written out in advance. Yeah,
she was an amazing woman.
Yeah. So that level of intention to important detail, I think so often we get caught up in the noise, and my namama was always focused on what was truly important.
Chuck, you want to go?
Sure. So didn't know him long, but my wife said that it was close to 10 years. My wife's grandfather one of the funniest men I ever met in my life. And his sense of humor, even when he was in an assisted living, the last days of his life, he was cracking jokes. We were up there one day, and I just remember we were talking to him, and the lady comes around giving us medication, and he looks at her and he goes, "Don't you think I'm a little old for birth control?" And she's like, "No, Mr. John, this is your medic." He's like, he looks over at me and Alex and goes, "She don't get it.
You don't get it.
He's just a funny man. I hope to have that humor as I get older.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. If you could keep a part of someone within you who has passed away, who would it be? So my 2-year-old son, Matthew, his middle name is Quinn. He was named after, I got a call one day from Children's Hospital, not uncommon. A 12-year-old lost his leg to cancer. I go, I meet him. He's stubborn as all could be. You know, they're trying to get him to walk across the therapy room, and he's like, I'll do half. You know what I mean? Like, he was so stubborn, and it was so fun. And when he left, I told those physical therapists, I was like, he's going to do great, because I was that same guy in the hospital, like just determined to do everything on my own. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's like, you know, there's some regret to that some places, but it made me who I am. And he had that. Well, it turned out the cancer after that was all over his body. And every time his mom, she had one day off a week, and they would go up to they would make the 2-hour drive to Children's Hospital as he did chemo. And I would go up there and hang out with him so she could have a break. And Quinn and I got really close. He graduated at 19. We never thought that would have happened. It was a very emotional moment in Alexander City on that parade field at graduation. And he would stay at our house. And I remember one night he was just like, I'm sorry. I'm like, Quinn, what are you sorry for? He's like, I'm in so much pain. And when I'm in pain, I'm rude and I'm mean. Buddy, you're not even one. You have every right to be like, this is a safe space. I was like, 2, you've never even not once been rude. But he was the toughest kid. Like, and he was very open-minded to anything and everything. He just wanted to know. He wanted to experience everything in my life, to know what I was into. Like, we lost him. And right after that is when Amanda got pregnant. And his name was Quintarius, but Quinn, Quin, one N. And we named Matthew Quinn with one N. And we were going to call him Quinn. And at the baby shower, we had this baby shower, and it was adorable. It was like Barbara Quinn, you know what I mean? It was all this fan. But afterwards, I told Amanda, I said, I love that he has Quinn in his middle name, but I don't want to call him Quinn. It's too soon, you know. But I hope that I always carry a part of him with me, because what he went through at such a young age. And I was there at one of his appointments when the pain management doctor and they were telling him that chemo was done. And then the tumor was affecting his right hand. And he asked, when's this going to get better? And the doctor said, it's not going to. We need to start talking about what we're doing at the end. And he shut down and then just got on his phone. I remember just holding in this emotion so he didn't see it. But I love that boy like family. And that's who I hope to always carry with me, because he was just a strong young man. Man, what are we at on time? We've been an hour?
Hour and 3.
I want to read Keith's real quick. My dad, he always had the words that made life make sense.
Do you have a quote, Keith, that your dad would say a lot? Would love to hear it if you do.
Yeah, share something, Keith. Keith was here when I came in to set up for the podcast, and I asked him, I said, hey, would you like to be on? He goes, nope. So I'm glad he got, I gave him a hard time. I said, you better hurry up and get home and sign in for this live episode. I do. I'm excited about these live episodes. Yes. And one of the things that I had shared with you, Stephen, and Chuck, we were talking about it, is like, yeah, if we ever get a chance to have like celebrities on here, we'll do it. And we love having experts. The last episode was with, a therapist, and we'll have more of those and people with different professions. but I want to have regular people on. I had shared with you, Stephen, the other day that, you know, for 19 years since I've been injured, I've shared my story, whether on a stage, giving a speech, or in different avenues. I want to start sharing other people's stories. I want to have people on, and just some may be funny, some may be deep and personal, whatever it is. I want this to be a community that we all grow together in. What do y'all think about that?
Sounds great to me.
I mean, it puts pressure on you to be, we're live, so if you don't like it. We're going to close out. Stephen, give us something good. End us with something good.
Hey, tell your loved ones you love them, and try to do something nice for a stranger this week. Other than that, smash that like and subscribe button. Would love to hear, Keith, if you're listening, if you're listening, would love to hear those words from your dad.
Yeah.
Other than that, keep living with no excuses, as Noah always says. There's no excuse not to take care of yourself.
Love it. All right. Thank you, Chuck.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Chuck. That was fun.